All right, guys, here I talk about the movie Gamebox 1.0. 2004's Gamebox 1.0, Lee. Had you seen it before?
I saw the sequel, Gamebox 2.0.
My God.
Which does not exist.
No.
No, it's a video game movie, right? It's about, but not a movie about a video game. A movie about a video game, like in the movie.
Yes,
not a game
this is
that
not
exists.
a franchise of video games. It's a guy who is in a video game. It's a Matrix-esque green screen, incredible bulk style movie.
You're in the game, Stephen.
You're in the game. Honestly, this seems worse than it is. I want to say I actually really enjoyed this movie. Like, visually, it is very dated. It is dated by its stars. It is the stars of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You have Harvey Kinkle himself, and you have Topanga from Boy Meets World here.
You're
so,
a sick fuck. You enjoyed this movie?
It's why I watched it in the first place.
That's true, absolutely.
I was like, who is this?
No, and I was like, it's Topanga. I actually don't know the dude. I did not watch Sabrina.
Okay.
So I was like, it's Topanga! And then she's in it, I guess. It's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I agree. It seems worse than it is. Mm-hmm. It is very much like a movie. Yeah. Right? It's just bad at doing that.
It is a game I would want to play.
You're a sick fuck.
We'll go into that more in the spoilers thing. No, but I did enjoy this. I do think it's worth watching. It's definitely a period piece if you like movies. This is something that would make you a complete list.
A part of what the old movies about in movie games had was like they've never played a video game before. They have no idea what's going on. So this is wild. Where you're like, what am I watching? VR Troopers? Like, what's happening here? There's things, and you're like, what? So yeah, it's wild enough that you should check it out, certainly.
Most definitely.
But it's bad.
Well, no, it's not good. All right, guys, if you've seen it or don't care, false or spoilers, and if not, pull out now.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are for the spoilers of Gamebox 1.0, Lee. Let me hear them spoiler-filled thoughts.
This movie is 10 out of 10 because the bad guy is a cop, ACAB, abolish the police. Hashtag reviews over.
That wasn't an accident. I can do worse if you don't mind your own business. Keep your mouth shut.
Pretty much.
I thought it was actually pretty bold that he's corrupt and like a shithead, and it's like you have this long-standing rivalry with this weird cop, and then it's like, I guess they're gonna shoehorn him into the fantasy. Oh, he's a samurai cop now. Not a cop who's like down with the wisdom of the Orient. No, a samurai who's just the same actor as the cop who's like deflecting bullets like it's Eon Flux.
The issue, I think, is how, like, that all would have been well and good and perfectly fine to scan in, because the computer says, like, scan in someone you dislike,
we're gonna
and
use
it will
people
make for a better
from
story.
Now capture an image of someone to play the game's villain. Your enjoyment of the game will be maximized if you choose an individual you truly hate.
So his friends are all the characters, which is also easier to have just, one set of characters instead of having multiple characters here.
It's fine.
But you didn't need this weirdness of, like, he's also a drug dealer and he did this.
Yeah.
And like, he could have just been a normal cop that we never see in reality that accidentally shot his girlfriend. Like, and it could have been left right there and it wouldn't have been anything. But we had to paint him as the worst guy ever to have this, like,
I find it very amusing.
It's more timely now than ever, but...
Well, because it's not just that, like, oh, this cop made a mistake and it eats away at him or something. He's like, no, I killed your girlfriend. It was fun. I'd do it again. So you're like, oh, he's, like, the bad guy. That's insane.
It felt so crazy. And again,
like
it's in an outlandish, like, video game world for most of it. So, like, having something be goofy doesn't really detract from anything happening.
I don't want to contradict you, but just to, so that everybody's clear, the cop kills Topanga in the real world.
In the real world.
That is the premise or the backstory. That's the setup for how we got here.
That's what sets our Harvey Kinkle character here to be in this depression where he does not hang out with his friends. He's antisocial. He works as a video game tester. When he goes home, he plays video games. He's just in his own world here.
I can relate to this kid.
Sure.
He reminded me of some of our friends, so we can't tie this together, but I was like, you are literally that guy, that kid. Yeah. It's
But in this world, he has sent this game out of the blue from the Twilight Zone. Or whatever. It's never addressed. Our cold open is someone playing this video game and dying
to
in
death.
Real life. Yeah.
Exactly.
in a terrible like day for night situation.
Oh god, and like the running, there's a lot of that in this movie, but it's like we're in the game and we have to run, so it's just an actor doing this. And then,
honestly,
like, behind them, it's like, okay,
a lot of the green screen, like, they do get a lot of angles.
It can be surreal and wild, definitely.
I'm not as angry at a lot of this. Like, especially for the time, I think they did really well.
But just the intro is so goofy that you're what have I gotten myself into?
Open.
Later, there'll be more fleshed out
I always think it's weird when they show, like, real video game things. Like, it's like Halo and I think Grand Theft Auto. Or
yeah, because the one gun is a Halo gun, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's straight up, I think the pause screen says Halo.
Where you come from? Hey, Charlie, what's up? Hey, Charlie. What's up, man? Check out my dad from the big screen, huh?
Like, they're like playing Halo.
I don't play Halo.
But it's an Xbox. They show an actual controller. Like, it's a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like, usually your low-budget movies try to, like, avoid these things, or they lean into them really hard in a way where I'm like, I think that Arrows and Emissions might catch this as saying it's illegal.
Well, I was going to say, the fucking, like, the controller that's on the disc, for example.
It's a generic,
It's like a fake. I think that other one with Frankie Muniz had a similar, like, fake controller where it's like, is that a GameCube controller? Like, what is that? And it's like, oh, I can't use a real. But yes, this definitely looked like some real video games.
They lean into
it. But they just, they cut to it real quick and you're like, I don't even know what's happening. And it cuts to like, oh, come on, bro, he's playing video games and all into it and stuff. Yeah, that's where it's cute. That's like the nostalgic aspect of like, oh, what's a video game? I don't know. Could be dangerous though. Oh, it's haunted.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the thing that really jumps out at me is this one, like where I say I would play this game. I've been shouting for years. Like it would be cool if when you're playing a virtual reality game or any game where you're like a person that levels and does things, if there were things that were about your actual character, like your actual person, brought into the game. And in this, he has his actual strength in the game, and I'm like, that's huge.
Yeah, he's trying to.
I love that.
He's trying to climb up something, right? In the game, he's like, don't I have like super strength? And the game is like the game, system narrator character is very sassy, and it's just
Hal is a little bitch.
It's just like, no, like you bitch, fuck you, climb the thing.
Game, don't I have any added strength or anything like that?
No.
No?
No.
Oh, great.
I hate that, obviously, because when I play a game to do things I can't do, not things I can do. If I could do them, what the fuck am I playing a game? But yeah, I understand you're like, I have
We're constantly
strength
trying
in these
to
things,
incorporate like games that are healthy and like those incentive-based things. Like they have the ones now where like, oh, you're in a weird harness and you're running on a trackpad and your body's actually like those kind of things.
You poop in the harness.
Oh, you gotta, and then they give you a feedback.
For warmth, yeah, exactly. And you're just in this contraption forever. Yeah.
But if there was a thing where it's like, okay, before the game, let me see how much you can bench. Let's see how far you can run without being fatigued. Let's how long can you hold your breath? Like these things pertain to your character. That would be cool, and that's an actual incentive. Like
if
I hate
you're good at
pressing
any of those
B
things,
a million times in a game for my character in game to work out. I'm like, that's dumb. If you're not working out in real life, you shouldn't be working out in a video game. That sounds like so dumb. It's a waste of time. But if there was an incentive to work out in real life to be better at a video game, I think we might actually solve some problems in America.
Those games would just never take off. It would be nothing.
Oh, Wii Fit was pretty popular for a minute.
Yeah, what happened?
Like a minute.
Yeah, exactly. People are like, wow, this is new and interesting. And they're like, oh, I'm used to this now.
Well, then they realized you could bowl us by doing like this. And you're like, yeah, whatever.
No, like the Wii Ring, people have, if it's your time to work out, you'll work out no matter what else is happening.
Yeah.
It's fine. Mm-hmm. But here, though, he goes to like once he's in the game, it's like, I'll go to Gangsterland or whatever. I go to Crime World. I'm like, this is your GTA clone. So I assumed it was just going to be structured like, oh, we go to each world for a little while.
Level is something.
And the same thing happens or whatever. But it ends up being this sort of, we're always on the run. We're always fucking it up. We're always trying to whatever. So they do visit Alien World.
Opening it the wrong way might set it off.
In Zombie World, but it's very quick and it's very like, we're not supposed to be here. I brought characters with me that shouldn't be here.
Backdoor glitched your way into things.
It's this weird thing.
I have no idea. The game keeps switching genres. I'm thinking this is probably Alien Planet.
Which I think is good, because that, once you're 40 minutes in and you're still in Gangsterland, you're kind of like, oh no, do we have 20 minutes each of the other lands and that's the movie? Like, I'm so upset by that. So it really kind of like gets on with it, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, little things of like gun. It's like, zoop. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah. Like, there's some elements there that are fun for a video game. I would enjoy.
Pistol.
And maybe in our lifetime, right before we become too senile to enjoy things like this, that might come out.
Or if you're senile, I'll just tell you that that's you're playing right now, and you're like, I love it. It's great.
It's so lifelike.
Oh, it's amazing. Just say gun. Oh, wow, he's got a gun. And everyone's...
How did Lee die? He had a gun.
He said gun.
Back 10. Pistol.
like the visual style of a really low budget Sin City, and that's kind of great bad. Like it rides a line where it is exactly what I need to enjoy. Like a lot of like early like Asian like produced videos had these things where it's like, oh, I'm in a Gundam suit and it's real life for these parts and then CG for those parts and like terrible mixing, and like this is like the low budget American version of that.
But it came with an unexpected attachment. Nothing was going by the book, and it was starting to burn me up.
Well, it's very like, there's a lot of bloom, and it's very like washed out and stuff.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that you can tell when you're in the game.
Am I in the game right now?
No, the game is waiting for you.
I'm not coming back.
Right, and it's consistent and like whatever. That part I'm okay with. I don't necessarily appreciate the aesthetic choices necessarily. There is a scene where like the car runs off the road and they just like direct click and they just move it. They just keep.
What the hell? Knock it off!
You frame it to go like and just go across the thing is very funny. There's several moments that like had me laughing because I'm like, wow, what are they doing? Come on.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like the zombies are just like digital ninjas. They're just like blacked out putties.
Yeah.
And then like they have little weird lines and scan lines around them. Like they're like, I'm a glitching monster.
On the aliens are just translucent versions of that same thing.
By that point, I was blind and cross-eyed, and I couldn't see anything. But yes, they do. There's like a lot of like they're trying for something. There's a lot of like POV down the gun barrel, or like you see his own face in this moving with the frame shots where they're trying to like get you into it and make you feel like it's happening. Right?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Look, we have to make these shades tonight where the deal is off. What the?
For every shot that was like brutal, there was something where I was like, oh, I'm impressed at the angle you were able to capture this at. Yeah. So like it always sucked me back in after it shit on me, you know?
So there's some give and take, you might say.
Yeah, I'd say a proper amount, honestly.
Nice.
The fact that we have this like unreliable video game narrator too, where it's
The
like,
game
yeah, like
thing,
it lies to him, it does
Yeah.
this, it does that.
You flat out lied and told me that Peter was real. You cheated.
It's all part of the game, Charlie.
Give me a help, my God.
Like it's like it calling him from as another person to tell him like
Yeah.
weird shit, and I was like, okay.
Did you make me think Kaplan called me yesterday?
We made you hear what you needed to hear.
And that's like the Sobe kid.
When?
Yesterday.
Dude, I didn't call you yesterday.
Or from the Big Green or Sandlot, you might know him.
Oh, I was gonna say the kid that people used to like, accuse me of being.
Yes.
The Sandlot kid, exactly. God damn.
You're killing me, Smalls.
I'm so glad I look nothing like him now, and no one can attack me for being a fat redhead kid.
Before I forget, one more person who you actually know in this movie.
Let's do it.
From Leprechaun in the Hood. The doctor is the breakdancing Asian guy.
You do video, chow dance. Chow dance.
Nah, child. I don't think we gonna be.
What the fuck?
Can you remember what happened to you?
And what's so weird is I'm watching it and I'm like, is that the guy from Leprechaun in the Hood? I had to pause it and look it up, and I'm like, it is that guy.
The breakdancing
I think his head gets put into a jar. He's like, oh, you like Dirty Dancing? He runs like a convenience store.
No, yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. Well, because you say breakdancing guy, and I picture he's part of the crew, and I'm like, what? No. He's the. It's like the.
Filmed around the same time as
it's
this.
like the Spike Lee thing where you have like a shopkeeper and
Yes.
they yell at each other. Yeah.
I look stupid. Everybody knows Jimmy died in 1970. You try bullshit, chow. You get the fuck out.
Aw, damn, child. Come on.
Woo! Or it's a small world. This is what we find out when we do
very.
these things. Yeah, he ends up in a coma that's where the doctor comes in.
Yeah.
I liked this.
How long have I been out?
4 days. Can you remember what happened to you?
Did you?
Well, because, like, at a certain point, okay, let's take a step back. I like that it's not haunted, that it's just the game console, like, doing it or whatever. I don't know how it's doing everything that it's doing, but I like that he gets a physical console in the mail, and he's not just like he has a disc or he has like a clicking on a thing. And
yeah,
then
it
it's
actually
all of a
interacted
sudden,
with his synapses.
Yeah,
and
he's
like
putting a thing onto his actual head, and it is an experimental thing. So part of me was even like, he's been in this coma the whole time. He's been in a coma for 40 years. Who knows? And you're like, he's not, listen, games, the game world, right? Something is going on, I thought, and then nothing was going on, which I'm like, why do I even assume anything's ever going on?
If I was going to go the coma outcome, though, I would have changed it entirely. I would have not put it into part of the movie. I would have had the movie end, like when he beats the game.
Yeah.
It finally reveals he's in a coma, and but you don't realize, so he beats the game, he comes out, and his girlfriend's still alive, but really it's because he's just in a fucking coma, and is living out the rest of his life, and maybe even they pull a plug and he dies, and that's the ending. A
happy ending.
Something.
I like it.
I just thought, a lot of things in this, I was like, you had a movie going here. You didn't really need to shoehorn, the cop being a drug dealer and the worst drug dealer. Hey, you, something wrong with you? You need some drugs?
Which way do you want to go? Uppers, downers, laughers, screamers, ticklers?
I could tell you're a man who likes... So, that to me is so small and meaningless, though. It doesn't matter if it's in there or not.
Well, it's just like a fun thing. Not a huge part, honestly. But I thought, too, that it felt like you keep shoving a little more in here when... Honestly, you could tighten this movie up a little bit and not need some of that stuff.
You absolutely could, but I think that was the strength for me, was how wild it was.
Oh, no, yeah.
How things keep happening where I go oh, this is not, why? Even there's an exposition point where it's oh, he's not going to stay? Oh, let him go, man. Yeah, his girlfriend got shot.
You never told her about Charlie?
She never met him.
What? His girlfriend got shot.
And they just go and you're like, what? That's your whole, and then it cuts to him and there's pictures of Topanga everywhere, and I'm like, same buddy, I understand. Surrounded by pictures of Topanga, crying in your room
when
alone.
They reveal how she was shot, you're like, what the hell were you even doing?
They were being delinquents.
And why was that cop in there with a gun ready to go?
Was selling drugs.
Maybe.
He says oh, you were trying to drugs me. That's why he's killed my girlfriend. And the cop's like, you should. And then when he wakes up out of the coma, the cop's there. Yeah. And part of me is still, I'm naively when did the coma begin? Is this real? What's happening? Is Topanga gonna come in next? I can't wait. And the cop's like, listen, you little piece of shit, you better keep quiet. And he goes, you're like, wait, no, he's still the bad guy.
If you tell them, the doctor, the nurse, anybody that I hit you or anything else, I will hunt you down. Do you understand me, Charles?
And then, the nurse is like, oh, he's been here every day just in case you woke up. Oh, what a nice man. Yeah. And I'm like, that's weird.
He's such a nice guy. He's been in here every day to see if you're awake.
And then that's your, button. That's your ending is, oh, the cop has the game now. Which I think makes no sense, because he didn't seem like a video game playing cop.
No, he's just drinking his beer in his garage. He's like, all right, what is this?
I guess I'll try this out.
Okay, I guess that's a button. And I was so glad that they don't show him in the game and the bad guy is somehow Harvey. And you're like, how?
Hello, model.
Why would that happen? What are you doing?
That would have been
it felt like they were going to do something like that. Oh, you'll get your revenge. Oh, he'll die.
Or Topanga is a dominatrix now and he's tied up to a machine that stretches him. Yeah. And you're like, well, your fetishes have no place here. Yeah, exactly.
Why should I do this job for you?
You have no choice.
Point noted.
When Topanga gets her hand chopped off.
My favorite part
It's the worst acting I've ever seen in my life, and I love it.
Oh.
She's a robot, so I'll give her a little bit of leeway, but the noise she makes when her hand is severed and the face and all that business. Oh my god.
Do it.
It's like, oh.
Oh. Yeah, I can't do it. Okay, I love that though. I wrote in all caps in my notes, he cuts her hand off and steals the briefcase.
No, I didn't dislike it.
It was a wonderful twist.
It's such a funny thing when you see like what actors are when they're on like, oh, this nationally syndicated high budget television show with good editing and like all that, and then you go into like a lower budget movie. It's like, okay, that's probably a better indication of what your acting style and talents are.
Wow.
Could you be any less specific?
Yes.
Look, Princess, maybe we should...
I've only seen Harvey in a few things. He was actually in one thing that I really liked. He was he played a prisoner in like a lifer or something like that. I forgot. It was like a sad short film, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Let me take this moment to segue and say, on IMDb, this kid has updated their picture, so now they look like, you know, in like a movie like Dad who went on the fishing trip.
Okay.
He's like, and we've all gotten older during the last...
He's Ugg from Salute Your Shorts.
Eventually, this hole will fill up with water and this scum will float to the top.
But like kind of, he just looks like an old dude. I think he's wearing a hat in one of his pictures, and I was like, and like I know that this happens, that people do their things, but not if they basically haven't worked since this. This was one of his last things. He did a short and did like nothing. So I'm like, who? I better update the picture again.
Well,
like
maybe
what's happening?
Updated because he wants work. Like he probably has his resume on there, and like if you tried to get him now, you don't want to be like, oh, I wanted Harvey Kinkle. Who the fuck are you?
No, it's very sad. I know. But that's the point. It's like it threw me for a loop in a way that, like, you know, Topanga's picture is just Topanga because she's just Topanga.
I would cast him.
You would marry Topanga. I know. What?
Topanga's never my type.
No, I don't know what this kid is all about. He didn't do anything here really, so I'm like, okay.
He was not
impressed me.
Nobody was really given a lot. Of to act here.
I was going to respond to your thing and say, it's not an indication of their acting ability. It's an indication that actors don't even do anything. It's just like the director and the DOP and everybody else who does the screenplay guy. Like those people do everything.
Oh no,
and the actors are just like empty vessels that they like smash together like action figures.
I guess I brought that up in a weird way. So what I mean is like on a television show that's going to be on TGI Friday.
Where you're like, oh, she's great.
Yeah, it's because like the person directing is probably like, no, do this. Oh no, do it again. And, like,
do it again.
Like, the angles, and they make it look so perfect. While on a low budget movie where like, you know, this had $1 million budget, which, you know, is still a low budget movie, especially with, I wonder what these stars in the height of their, you know, like, I'm fucking famous. Like for them, you know, got paid.
They got paid, I'm sure.
I don't think they gave them a whole lot of takes or things like that because like that thing, like, or the nature of, oh, this movie, fuck it, phone it in. Like, who's to say?
No. With a lot of these productions, sometimes it's like, you know, it's like, though they're kind of inconsistent, and it's like, yeah, because at some point during production they were like, oh, I've been tricked into being in this movie. Yeah. Fuck it, I'm just getting my ass out of here.
Especially a green screen film movie at this time.
How do I know you love horses, but every time you tried to ride one, you chickened out at the last minute because you said the horse didn't seem nice?
I don't know.
You were probably like, what are we even doing? We haven't left this room. Is this a movie? Are you tricking me? Am I on punked? Ashton? No?
You gotta try harder, Coach. You gotta make it really good. You wanna get me, you gotta make it really good.
I was gonna say, well, she was definitely not told to act like a robot lady when she like underacts when her arm gets cut off.
Well, they just changed her audio to make her seem more digital.
Is this the girl I supposedly look like?
You really don't know.
Like,
well, yes, but I'm saying like that was not a choice by Topanga. Clearly, she just, and they were like, it's fine, but she may have misunderstood the implication of what she was doing because it's not visible.
Yeah.
And when things get cut off, when there's holes in people, it's this cool, just like open effect, this like whatever, which is retro. Futurist good. It's like the first Tron or something.
No, it all looked. A lot of it was like a warm bath. It was nice. I was like, oh yeah, I could soak in this. The hospital stuff was a little weird though. It getting meta. I always think it's weird when like people see their own self when like you actually couldn't see yourself. Like it's not there like mapping the room.
That's you. What's going on?
Maybe the game wasn't lying to me. Maybe I am in the hospital in the real world.
Because the game isn't with him, so it's weird to see a thing that he's not actually in. Anytime, it's the same thing I say about like premonitions and bullshit. Like seeing
you don't understand movies, but that's okay. I'm here to help you with this. No. It's there's a point to just, fill in to get back to where you're at. There's a point where he's like, wait, what? And he's like, but I'm not playing the game. And the game's like, you don't have to play the game.
But I'm not wearing the headset.
You don't need the headset. The game has already been activated.
I want to leave. I'm about to die.
And it's this weird thing where that's what made me think like, oh, this is entirely unreliable. And when you have a character who's like, oh, he's depressed, he's not hanging out with people, he's just like going to work, playing games, going to work, playing games, back and forth, you could see like, oh, this is the story of a boy. Maybe he caught a stray bullet and he's in a coma the whole time too, or whatever, right? So
maybe his girlfriend wasn't shot. Maybe he was shot. Oh!
The stinger went through me and got to you. Yeah, exactly. There's some sort of something going on or whatever. Yeah. So yes, it's difficult now to look back on certain things and say, well, there was nothing going on, right? So like, what is this even for? But I'm like, that's him imagining. He has a line like the game thinks this will be scarier than aliens or zombies or whatever.
The game thinks this will scare me more than zombies or aliens.
Charlie, are you dying?
So I'm like, okay, the game is using his memories, which it does for Topanga and the cop. He doesn't scan them, right?
Yeah.
So the game is like cheating or like doing its own thing to some degree. And a part of that is like, well, what do you think a hospital looks like, you bitch? Here you go. You're in the hospital.
He only scanned
like
all
showing
friend,
him a
yet
thing.
all his friends are in the game.
Dude, is that a camera? I think so.
Wait, you said it's for a new game system?
Yeah, it's supposed to take pictures of people with this thing.
So similarly.
He scans a few people on the couch, I think. But
Maybe.
Yes, whatever.
But it seemed like he knew everyone,
Well, there's other people in there because they were like, oh, well, how's he going to scan his dead girlfriend? They're like, fuck it, just put her in there. Yeah.
It did, though. Like, they actually could have easily done that because he like even went to scan that picture and said, nah. Like,
no, it's weird.
And it would have been totally fine if he did scan it, Like, it wouldn't really change the story much. It would have made me a little happier, I think, honestly.
No, and like you could have done a thing where things are happening and he's going along with it, but then he stops like, wait, I never scanned her. What's going on? And that could feed into your eventual twist reveal of whatever, which the movie has none. So you're like, whatever, right. Yes. Right?
I want to see her again.
We know.
There's a setup that I thought I was going to enjoy the payoff for, but not really. Like earlier on, it's like, oh, come to the party. Oh, next time. And you're like, okay, he's gonna be a well-adjusted human. He's gonna go to that party. That's gonna be a whole thing. That's gonna be like, oh, cool.
Dude, get out of your apartment.
Next time. I promise. I gotta go.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel like a proper payoff for me. And maybe because they tried to shoehorn that new love interest in there, and she's like, oh, how about next time, Casanova?
Oh, the exact sandwich that everyone's... Yeah. And it's not even a sexy sandwich.
No, it's a really weird sandwich.
Roast beef with extra horseradish on the side.
How about roast beef with extra horseradish? I think you'll like it. See, the extra horseradish is what makes it good.
Which I guess it's the kind of thing of like, I want a pizza, extra anchovies, extra olives, hold the cheese or some shit. It's one of those things where you're like, well, only a psychopath would order this. So you're obviously meant to be together. So that's fine. But still weird that they have another, and she's like the same Topanga type person.
She's the same Pokemon.
Where I'm like, what is happening here?
Hello, my name is Pamela. How you doing today?
Good.
Good. Have you decided?
Yeah, no, that whole, like once he wins the game, I'm like, okay, we should be done. Just be done. This is a short movie. Just play 10 minutes of credits now, please. And they don't. They play 5 minutes of credits, but first they have to play 5 minutes of this pointless epilogue.
I think I would have preferred, honestly, like the classic bullshit thing of just like, that's just Topanga again in a different wig with glasses now. And you're like, oh.
Oh.
What do you care?
I told you. You look like someone I used to know.
Like
something about you, I just can't resist.
It would be as outlandish as anything else, and I'd like it a little more, I think.
Oh,
did you? Just dumb.
Okay, so this is So now I believe he's still in the coma because, you heard off camera, the hostess is like, "Get over here, princess! Your shift's not done." Or she says something to her, and I'm like, oh, and that was Topanga's game name was Princess. You see, it's all tied. Like honestly, it's doing a lot of movie shit like that I always love and stuff.
Let's go, princess. We don't have all day.
But, it sucks in between all those things. But it's at least seems like it has, because this could be a nightmare. There could be, points where you're like, oh, they don't have this. What are we doing? What's happening?
Could have been 90% of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, they got
really
so
held it
liberal
together
with their
pretty
uses
good,
of different camera angles that made it good. And some of the acting was generally good. I loved the betrayal.
Why do you want it anyway? I only exist in the game, Charlie. I
Don't let anybody ever open this case! Fine!
Well,
yeah.
Like the friend. Like, again, another thing, the game lying to you. No, he's real. Trust me. Blah, blah, blah. And he had the wherewithal to not give him a weapon for a while. And then the moment he gives him that axe, and like, I think the music cue changed.
There's,
like,
it's a very interesting and goofy moment.
Just give him the axe.
Fine. Axe.
Because like that you can't avoid suffering from is like, well, the aliens are advancing, but like, are they though? They're kind of just like a flat picture of aliens, and then his friend is like cutting off her hand and the suitcase, and it's like cut. And you're like, he ran to the left. Is that even correct? Where are we? What's happening? Like, that's always going to be a rough like transition. But yes, the twists and turns. I love that him in the real world is like, he's just wearing like lumpy gray clothing and his hair is like gross and stuff. And then like in the game world, it's like poofed up. It's like he's like, I'm Mr. Cool.
And then the transition of once he gets back out, you're like, okay, he's become more of his game persona. He's a cool guy again. His
integrated his shadow, as you'd say. Yes.
Charlie, I haven't seen you in a while. You look good.
Thanks.
I thought you found a new restaurant and abandoned me.
I also enjoyed the like, oh, it's dark. Use the health pack light to know when you can shoot this guy.
Keep your eyes on the health icon and don't make a sound.
And this and that.
Well, yeah, they're like luring, which is an old trick. We used to do that in PUBG. You just put like a nice big pack somewhere with a little trail of breadcrumbs, and dudes come in, and you sit in the bathtub, and you get them.
I like that. Similarly, like he like lays down and shoots someone's legs under the car. I was like, oh, if video games incorporate more of these type elements, it's
like there is that spark in there of like, we're gonna do all the normal shit like, you know, any movie like this would do, but we have a few ideas of things we're gonna throw in there and stuff.
Like actual video game things,
cool. Yeah. Even just having health and not having it be a fake dumb thing that only matters once. It matters repeatedly.
I want to use my health.
Press it to your chest.
Yeah. There's even a great scene where his friend, who's actually an NPC, so I don't know how this even happens, like takes the health.
Hey, Game, I want to use this health.
No. What if one of us needed that more than you?
My arm was killing me. Sorry.
Yes.
And then he's like, from now on, we discuss who gets the health, and weapons will go through me. And I was like, oh, because if health packs were real, they'd be very important and very powerful, and you would have to like discuss that.
Exactly.
So there's little things where I'm like, oh, that's a cool little thing.
And we all have that friend who grabs all the loot. So like, you know,
that's what I'm saying.
If you're a video gamer, you know that guy.
I've always said like, it's not guns or ammo that makes the game so different. It's the health packs. If we had health packs in real life, it'd be a very different story.
Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's alright.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Once you begin, you won't be able to quit.
Yeah, we'll see about that.